After the Nintendo Switch had an amazing start in 2017, it seemed like 2018 was going to be even better, seeing as how Nintendo was only focusing on one platform instead of two like they always had in the past, and that they gave up on the Wii U so early, which we all just presumed was to stockpile on more content for the Switch. But aside from a handful of games, January through September have been pretty lackluster for N-Dog's little hybrid console that could, especially for people who owned a Wii U. There's many reasons as to why that ended up happening, but rather than trying to oversaturate the end of 2018 with more Wii U ports or just throwing together some easy-to-make games, N-Dog seemingly said frigid and decided to just make sure the Switch doesn't suffer the same fate in 2019, judging by the September 13th Direct. Because based on everything we saw, along with the games that were delayed into next year, the Nintendo Switch is going to be a huge deal in 2019. And if you ask my pasty ass, it'll definitely be better than 2017. How is that, you ask? Well, crack open a can of horse milk, press the subscribe button if you haven't already, and allow me, the late great Cameron, to tell you why the Switch is going to rule harder than ever in 2019. I know it may be an ass hair too early to say the Switch's 2019 is going to be better than 2017, but I'm going to go ahead and say right now that it totally will be. And if you don't agree with that, then you can either call me a butt man in the comments, or call my mom and tell her not to feed me anymore and watch me starve. And yeah, I remember along with many other people, I said the Switch's 2018 was going to top its 2017. But to be fair, Nintendo also thought this as well, because they knew they had to give us something awesome for the first half of the year. They just somehow thought people were going to give a shit about Labo. And this miscalculation really threw a monkey wrench into things, since it meant that the first 9 months of the year had to be carried by games that had issues one way or another. If you're a Switch owner who never had a Wii U before, then you got to play a lot of fantastic games and probably thought 2018 ruled. But these games weren't doing a whole lot for the 5 of us who have played them before. Then there was Kirby and Mario Tennis, which were okay, but not good enough to carry a console. And yeah, Octopath Traveler, some notable indie games, and a few ports from third parties kept us sane, but Labo flopping really did throw the Switch for a loop. And if you liked Labo, then more power to you, I guess. But most people didn't even bother with it. And to neuter 2018 even more, Yoshi's Crafted World and Fire Emblem Three Houses were delayed. Don't get me wrong, I'm excited for Mario Party and even Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, plus Smash Ultimate's obviously gonna be amazing. So don't think I'm saying 2018 was completely awful or anything like that. It's just that with there being 3 fewer big Switch games that Nintendo planned on releasing, 2018 just couldn't top 2017, even though had things gone according to plan, the 2 years would have at least been comparable. But come 2019, Nintendo's not friggin' around anymore, because while it may be hard to top Mario Odyssey, Breath of the Wild, Xenoblade 2, and all the other gold from the Switch's debut year, I just don't see any way how 2019's not gonna blow all that away. And if I'm wrong, then I promise I'll sacrifice myself in a high-tech CG explosion so big that nobody will remember I even existed in the first place. However, that's just not gonna happen, because, I mean, look at the games we already know about for 2019. Yoshi's Crafted World might just seem like a throwaway game to some people, but judging by how well the last game sold, even on the Wii U, I'd say that a lot of other people are excited about it as well. Personally, Woolly World's one of my favorite 2D platformers of all time, and I know a lot of critics didn't think it was anything special, but if you think I sound like a Nintendo fan man for hyping one of their games up, then watch my video about why critics are wrong on Woolly World, because it's a lot to get into, and I don't want to get off topic. My point is that by the looks of things, Crafted World looks like it's going above and beyond to be even better than Woolly World, which isn't surprising seeing as how it was delayed, but I'm telling you right now that this game's gonna be a bigger deal than most people think, and I really do believe that this game being absent from the year's lineup really made a difference in 2018's overall quality. But as far as the other 2018 game that's just now beefing 2019 up even more, there's the new Fire Emblem game, Three Houses. If the first baker's dozen of Fire Emblem games all being great are any indication, then this is something to be excited for, and it's great that the series' popularity is at an all-time high, even if there are a few too many characters in Smash. I'd make a sex joke about how I hope they keep the waifu system, but my inside source in the American government told me that due to the vulgarity of this channel, I'm one crude remark away from being put on a list. So let's just say that I can't wait for my character's avatar to touch one lucky Fire Emblem lady's body part that rhymes with weenus. But anyway, let's move on to Luigi's Mansion 3, which is something that I've been wishing for since the Wii U, and I peed my pants when it was officially announced. While we don't know much about it yet, I don't think much needs to be said. I know it's gonna be good, and so do most of you. And while I'm personally not into Animal Crossing and won't pretend that I am, it can't be denied how huge that series is. And after everybody was disappointed with Home Designer, I'm glad fans are getting the real deal experience. And as if Animal Crossing wasn't big enough for 2019, the Switch is also getting the 8th generation of Pokemon, which is clearly gonna rip ass all over the place because it's always huge whenever a core Pokemon game debuts on a new platform. And I don't think this time will be any different, even though we literally don't know anything about it at all, other than its release window of late 2019. As soon as they show these off though, we can look forward to the internet melting, which I'm sure won't be till after Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee get some time to shine. So even if these 5 games right here are the only notable Switch games to come out in 2019, it's already better than 2018 in my opinion. But those are only the games that we know we're getting and will be a hit. There's also Town that has an amazing art style and it'll probably be good seeing as how it's made by Game Freak of all people. Plus we're getting a game like Daimon X Machina that I'm not sure whether or not people are excited for, but based on the fact that people would have been all over this game in 2018 and even 2017, just goes to show how stacked 2019 is going to be for this to be a little bit of an afterthought. And let's not forget about Travis Strikes Again, which might not be super well known, but the first two No More Heroes games were awesome, and if 3's just as good as the second one, then even January is going to be pretty damn good for the Switch. Because while New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe is yet another Wii U port, it's still a great game, even though I can't believe they actually named it that. But 2D Mario games always sell like McDonald's hotcakes, so I don't expect this to be any different, and I wouldn't be surprised if it ended up being one of the best-selling games on the Switch. And if you haven't played it originally, then trust me, it's well worth the money. But even though this is the only Wii U port we know about, I'd be shocked if we didn't get a few more, seeing as how there's still plenty of really good games from that console that need to be ported over. I know I lampooned 2018 for Wii U ports, but it's not that there's anything wrong with them per se, it's just that they shouldn't have carried the Switch all year. If used responsibly, however, Wii U ports could really beef things up, just like ports in general can, like the 50 Final Fantasy games we're getting with the exception of 8 for some reason. And remember, this is all we know as of some random September Direct. I mean, until the end of October 2016, we didn't even know what the Switch was, and look at how good 2017 ended up. And don't forget, there's probably a lot of third-party games we don't even know about yet. Surely they're coming, and with the Switch being as popular as it is, I'd wager they won't all be ports, seeing as how devs have had enough time to make original content by now. And not to mention Shin Megami Tensei 5, Bayonetta 3, and Metroid Prime 4 were confirmed a long time ago. Although, I suppose we don't know that those will be ready next year, but can you imagine the pandemonium that would ensue if they were? I don't fully expect it, but I wouldn't be surprised if one, if not all three of them came out in 2019, seeing as how this is exactly the kind of release schedule I've been saying is inevitable since Nintendo decided to focus on one platform. Pretty much every game I predicted for 2018 is coming true, it's just that it's coming in 2019 instead, cause Nintendo farted in the pipeline of games, I guess, I don't know. The Switch's game lineup in 2019, something that would have normally been divided up between a handheld and a console in years prior. And yeah, some of these big games might get delayed till 2020 since it is Nintendo we're talking about here. But 2019 stacked enough to where people will be too busy with other games to even notice or care if one or two gets pushed back. It may have taken a little longer for Nintendo to fully figure HD gaming out, but now that they seemingly have, I don't see the momentum stopping even in 2020 regardless of how underpowered the Switch is. Cause graphically, none of these games will be able to hold a candle to the other consoles. And while I do care about and appreciate graphics to some extent, the Switch's success in 2019 is just gonna go and show that visuals are less important now than ever before since everything at worst looks fine. Although I still have my hopes that the Switch will get an upgrade before too long so I can take more third-party multiplats on the go. But more importantly, let's just hope that Nintendo even somewhat attempts to think about figuring out how online gaming works. What do you think though? Will 2019 be the Switch's biggest year? Or are none of these games for you and you somehow stuck around till the end of the video anyway? Let me know what you think in the comments below, and as always, I'll pin whatever I find most entertaining or intriguing. Don't forget to like and share this video to help this channel grow. Thanks from the bottom of my ass to everybody who supports us on Patreon for silly rewards. And if you're a sexy dingus, then go ahead and press the subscribe button if you haven't already. My name's Cameron, and I'll see you next time.
So I want to say thank you to your loyalty, thank you for your support.